One thing is sure, that he was not born evil, and he is not a psychopath. Even though he was diagnosed as a psychopath and he admitted to being one himself, the reality is more complex than that. It's understandable to confuse him with a psychopath because he shows no lack of empathy towards his victims. But the thing that separates him from the psychopaths is that his lack of empathy was developed. It came from trauma. It wasn't there from the start. And one little observation, psychopaths usually saw their first early crimes with animals. And however, Richard used to be empathic with animals when he was younger. Studying his chart shows a person who absorbs emotions, who felt too much, and a very sensitive person who could not handle what he had been through. He used to be very naive towards the world. And just a reminder, I'm not excusing any of his crimes. I'm just studying his personality, what could be the motives of his crimes, and the big questions why he killed those people. And if he had grown up in a healthy childhood, the outcome would have been completely different. His chart shows a deep wound around the mother, the home, the protective feminine. His Lilith is in Cancer in retrograde, and the retrograde drives it inward. His mother loved him but failed to protect him against his father, and that is the wound Richard carried all his life. This actually shows up later in the way he chooses his victims. He broke into homes, attacked people in their beds at night, in the exact place that should have been their refugee. His wound enacted its inverse on others. The boy who was not safe in his own home made sure that no one would be safe in theirs. And then there is the Pluto. Pluto is the planet of darkness, death, power, and forced transformations. When Pluto makes a hard contact with one of your personal planets, it tends to drag you into experiences involving exactly those themes. In the early 70s, Pluto in the sky was sitting directly opposing his Pisces planets. This is one of the most psychologically transformative transits possible. At any age, it remakes identity, mind, and emotional life through forced contact with the dark. Sadly, he had this transit during the years his cousin Miguel was showing him war crime photographs, and then he murdered his own wife in front of Richard. His chart was wide open. Most 13 years old, even after witnessing something horrific, would have processed it as a trauma. His chart configuration meant the material did not get processed as an ordinary trauma. It got absorbed deep into the layer of the psyche where identity itself gets formed. The murder did not become a memory. It became part of who Richard was. There is one more thing I noticed about his chart. It portrays a person who is religious, who have to believe in something, and it explains why he is a satanic. His psyche needed a cosmology. He needed a god. And the lesson of his childhood was that tenderness does not stop the violence. So when his religious hunger went looking for a frame that matched what he had actually experienced, only one kind of god would fit. A god of power, a god who refused.